I just had a post where, it was the video of all of the ROs and everybody at Buckeye Blast.
Hmm.
And in there, in the little comments I made, I was like, did you notice the national champion who was ROing one of the stages, and how often do you see that?
Exactly. Exactly, right?
So,
So, yeah, Joey is one of those guys that loves the sport and then still volunteers himself to be able to make the sport going. And trust me, I have worked with Joey in one of the stages at Buckeye, and he is such a his coaching ability is up there because he would coach me just let's go, man, go. Like, like time to like reset the stage, like it gives you that energy, and I'm all about energy. Like, I love people when they have that energy, and I try to give them the energy. But sometimes you can't give all the energy because you drain all your energy as well. So you gotta like, absorb some energy from other people, and Joey is one of them. Yeah, he gives the energy to me, and then give it back, and we had a blast. My first Buckeye Blast, staffing Buckeye Blast, and I was in his stage, staffing it. So we were so efficient, Dave, that I mean, like pushed people so much on that side, and the range master was actually telling us to like, guys, you need to slow down. we we were so efficient that we were causing people to get so
oh, backed up.
backed up on the next stage because we were just doing it so efficiently. But
So
yeah,
your first match then in 21 was that with the Glock 32?
yeah, I started shoot. No, I did not. I never used my Glock 32 for a match.
Oh.
When I started shooting, even in the defensive, I had a Glock 17.
Mm.
So I used a Glock 17, I believe, in my first match, if I'm not mistaken. And that was in our Fort Wayne a rifle, and a revolver is in Harlan, Indiana. And that was my first match with a Glock. And then, of course, I started doing some things with a Glock, like I just get so like, oh, if I can make this trigger so nice and crisp and put some, aftermarket trigger in it, then I will shoot better. That mindset, that mentality,
Mm-hmm.
it's not about like, dude, I just need like, and of course my boy Josh was just, dude, you already shoot good. Just continue. Like, don't worry about like. But I was doing my thing. I was doing dumb things, and then I've had it slowed me down on my progression skills because I was worried about more of the gun. So I was manipulating different things with a gun. Of course, with a Glock, you can manipulate so much. You can change the slide, you can change the spring, and then of course, I've had matches that my Glock became bolt action Glock. I had to, yeah, because it wouldn't fire. Like, boom, it won't cycle. So I had to like cycle it, boom, and it was terrible until I really learned my lesson and just just let the gun do its thing. But that again, it's one of those things that I didn't really regret. I mean, I still enjoyed doing all those things. Because I've learned so much how to manipulate a striker fired gun. Like you know, disassembling and doing all kinds of things with the gun. So I understood the mechanics of the gun. Just by taking it apart, understanding how the trigger works, what's the striker, the spring on the striker. Because I was changing everything in that Glock until it didn't work anymore. And then, of course, I had to return. Yeah, I had to replace the regular springs because now I'm making the striker spring so light. Yeah, the trigger was crisp, like 2 pounds, but it wasn't making it go bang. And of course, the recoil spring was so light, it wasn't chambering the next round fully chambered. So then
Right.
what? When people do that now, and then I asked him, "What did you do to the gun?" So I have that background. I can tell them, okay, you need to change it back to the regular spring because
Yep.
I've seen people do it, and I'm not the only one that done it. Like there are people like me
Oh,
in this.
I would say in the U.S., anybody that shoots anything other than just a local, like if you've ever shot a major,
Hmm.
that to me tells me you've put enough time into the sport where you're dry firing, you're tinkering with your equipment, which includes your gun,
Yep.
and doing all of that. So it's probably 95 or everybody that we saw at Buckeye Blast at some point has tinkered with their gun.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. But so now I'm a little bit more mature now with my shooting. I learned to be able to control myself and not tinker so much with the gun. So when now I mean I've shot that after Glock I went to the Canic Rival um, S,
okay.
and besides the fact that that gun had some over insertion issues, I've never messed anything with that gun. And I enjoyed shooting that gun in carry optic division because I can really, really run that gun. And I have, yes, I have exact the same, the chrome and the black. So I have the dark side and uh, that one. So I have two of them, and I enjoyed that gun so much. The weight is perfect. The trigger is just out of the box, perfect. It shoots really accurately for me, and
Did did you shoot Area 8 last year?
no, I did not shoot Area 8. Um,
I learned something about my Rival S at Area 8 last year because all right, let me grab the other one.
okay.
So, I went to Area 8 and my primary gun is my Rival S. And I shot it day one, shot great. There was one stage I was the only person on our squad who hit both pieces of the moving steel, like
Mm-hmm.
not a swinger, not a bobber, but a slider.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
but I kept having malfunctions. So I thought the malfunction issue was raising its head. So the very next morning, we called Russell over. He was the range master, and I said, "Look, I got to switch to my polymer rival
Mm-hmm.
because I was having." And he asked me why, and I said, "I'm having a bunch of malfunctions." He turned to the rest of the squad, and he's like, "Is he?" And they were like, "Oh yeah!" Like three of them in unison were like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "All right, cool, no problem." So I swapped out guns. I was still having malfunctions. The problem ended up being my ammo. It was like power factor 125.2.
Oh
And
my!
and it was some factory ammo. So literally one of the rounds or one of the rounds they had to shoot another round because one of them was 124 something.
Wow.
So three of the four all made power factor, but so then I realized, it was barely making enough power factor and wasn't really operating the slide. It was 124 grain, not 115. So it wasn't really operating the slide well. But this is what I found out. So the day that I shot my Rival S, man, it was steady. The dot was steady. Everything looked great. Then the next day, when I switched to my polymer, I'm like, man, I cannot hold the dot steady. What is going on? So I grip harder and then I would induce more shaking.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
what I found was when you have an older patient who has, and you may or may not know the answer, but if you have an older patient, say in their 70s or 80s, and they have the shakes and it
Mm-hmm.
makes them hard to eat, what do you give them to help them steady their hand? Do you know?
We've as far as medication wise.
Nope. Heavier silverware.
Yeah, yeah. So we put like handles on them. We put like an extension to the fork or the spoon. It's like on it so that they can grip it properly.
And if you get the heavier silverware,
Yeah.
that extra weight deadens the shakiness. And what I found was
The
It
steel
didn't
trap
matter how much I grip this thing. I can grip it as hard as I want, and I don't induce nearly as much shaking as I
thing.
do on a lightweight gun.
Yeah, you are right because I also have the polymer version of the Canic Rival, and yeah, and I tend to like overly grip the gun sometimes, and when I do that with the polymer, yeah, I can definitely see and noticeably, like like I'm kind of making it so much like
Yeah.
gripping it too much that now I'm like shaking the gun. So that's why if I change from like steel to the polymer, I have to like dry fire it long enough to just the pressure of the grip has to change. But then
Yes.
again, when that beep comes, it's just a matter of like what is your at that time, who knows? I can't really like assess myself on a regular match. Like a local match, yeah, I can assess myself. On a major match, however, it's different because I don't really know now how much I'm applying. Was that enough pressure for this type of gun, for especially on pistol? And then I also shoot PCC, so like sometimes pistol like I go back and forth, and then I go back on my video, and then if my gun, my wrist doesn't move much, and the recoil is good, then I'm like, oh yeah, so I gripped it properly. And then there are some times when I look at my my hat cam, like, oh, I did not grip that gun. That gun was like so like, you know, doing some weird, moving as it recoils, and no wonder why I had a mic. It's one of those things, and it's the consistency is the number one part of this whole thing, and then sometimes it's even hard to be consistent in like shooting a stage in like 20 seconds. Like, how in the world my consistency changes within that short amount of time? That's only 20-second stage, and there's still parts in there. That's why I'm really trying to understand this, and I like to like get Joey's mind on this thing, because I think Joey's got the hot sauce right now, I think.
Well, I would say too, I mean, just think back 20 years ago, Mike, when there were no hat cams, there were no action cameras, there were no cell phones that took high quality video.
Yeah,
You had to have a third person there to watch to
yeah,
coach you.
yeah,
Whereas now,
yeah,
with all these videos, like I
mhm,
love the aim cam glasses because they put a camera right here
right there.
and I can see my dot through the sight when I'm shooting. Now, if it's a hard lean, you won't. But
Right.
any other time, and I went back one time, I had it was a local match, but I made up a target with a third shot because the second shot just there was something off about it. I couldn't quite figure out what it was, but something was off. So I made up another shot. And the RO asked me, he said, "Why did you make up that shot?" And I was like, "It didn't feel right." And he goes, "Well, you made up two alphas with an alpha." And I'm
Hmm.
like, "Oh, I could have saved some time." And he said, "Yeah, but I mean, this was an experienced shooter." So he's like, "Yeah, but you did the right thing because if something's not right and you're
Yeah.
registering that something's not right, then you
And you
did the right thing."
Yeah.
And when I looked back at my video, I could see the dot on the target and they both were alphas, but the second recoil was different than the first.
Oh, yeah. That
And
kind of.
that's what registered in my mind was like, "Whoa, that didn't look right." So bang, I fired another, and it wasn't a very far target. It was like 7 or 8, 10 yards.
Mm. Yeah.
Probably closer to 10, but not far.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. You don't want to take a mic. If your brain tells you that you had a mic on that second shot and you didn't make it up, I would be so. I mean, I've done that so many times, and I've upset myself because like it should only take me another, 3/10 of a seconds to make it up. Like the worst thing is half a second to make it up. But yeah, it's one of those
Well,
things. Or
and,
like, yeah.
well, I was going to say, and in that case, it registered so quickly that it would have been the minimal amount of time.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because a mic is a big. I mean, that's 15 points you're gonna lose on a mic, and
Yeah.
that's a hard thing to like really like recover from a 15-point deficit. Like especially if you want to really compete against your competitor. Like let's say I'm competing against the A class in my division. If I lose 15 points out of somebody that didn't lose 15 points, now I gotta find that 15 points somewhere
Yeah, you do. Yep.
and
And
hoping
that's
they
hard to do.
yeah, and that's hoping they screw up on the next, on the next stage.
Give
But
you that opportunity to make up that 15 points.
yeah, exactly. But I don't want to. I was like, yeah, just don't get Mike in the first place. Like, come on.
Right.
Just, why is that
Have
so
you
hard to do, Dave?
hell if I know because you know what? Like you said when the timer goes off, it's like hair
No,
on fire.
it's such that's why we keep coming back, man. Like because we know we can do better. We know we can do better than what our performance on that last match. And it's like, man, I know I can do better. Why did I not do good? Why did I not do good at that match? I want to do good. I want to do better.
and and the thing is, it's not the shooting, it's all the mental part
Oh
because
yeah. Sheesh.
there isn't
Tell me
there
about it.
isn't a match. Yeah, there isn't a match that I've shot that I was like, oh, that mic was because I didn't know how to shoot that target or
Right.
because my gun messed up. It
Right.
no, it there was something in here that messed up.
Yep. Exactly. It's like I'm in this skill now that I already know how to shoot. It's just me trying to gain this hit factor game. Because when you start gaming this hit factor game, Dave, it's in a total different ball game, man. It's not just about scoring points anymore. It's hit factor gaming is about time now. Like
Well,
I can sacrifice a Charlie on this hard targets as long as I don't throw a mic, as long as I do it sooner and don't spend the rest of my time there to make hits on that target and then just finish this from on this stage. I want to start here and my finishing time, my last target, I want to like if my predicted time is 20 seconds, I want to finish that time either 20 seconds or less on my predicted time for this stage, because hit factor it totally changed this whole game. Like I'm trying to study this hit factor with Eric Graffel and this top notch shooter. They do a lot of hit factor gaming things. It's
yeah,
amazing.
they do.
Yeah.
Well, I always say shooting is checkers, hit factor is chess.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know?
Exactly. Yeah.
There's
You
because there's so many moving parts.
Yes. And you have to know what stage you can gain the most hit factor scoring. And you don't want to lose on that stage, especially those standard stage. Let's say you have a 70-point stage, and this stage could be you just standing, shooting, and reloading, and shoot all alphas and make it like less than 7 seconds. So now this is a 10, let's say this is a 10 hit factor stage, and then you screw up because you did some weird shit in your brain. Now you did it in 10 seconds. Now you're so behind, you have like a 5 hit factor, and the rest of the guys are like 8, 9, 10 hit factor. So now you're losing, or that's already a gap of like 4 points per second already in just in that stage alone. And sometimes
Right.
those stages are like the winning stages, man. Like you could, you
Yeah.
could, yeah. On this big stages, like a 30 round stages, which is like a 4 hit factor. Sometimes those are like not a bad stage to screw up on, because you know, I mean, there's a lot of points to recover from that. Like if you screw up, but These small stages, you got to get all of the points and all the less amount of time to gain leverage with your competition.
Yeah, 100% agree. You see that?
Yeah. What do we have? Oh, this is. Oh my God, I remember this stage, man. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I might make it a little bit bigger here and then I'm going to adjust it.
Yeah.
There we go. That'll work. So this is stage 6 at the Buckeye Blast. This
Yeah.
is you.
I remember I went to battle with those steels, and then the no shoot really killed me.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because this I got really, I don't know, my brain just went kind of weird and crazy, but yeah, yeah.
Well,
This
let's
really,
watch it real quick. And is that Joey? I think that's Joey running you, isn't it?
yeah, it's Joey. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
I think part of these. I think part of the stage design at Buckeye Blast, and I think this is what makes it good too, is they set up traps like the steel to see
Hmm.
if you would go to battle with it instead of knowing, when to stop, when
Hmm.
to say no mas,
Yeah.
and when to keep battling.
Yep.
Man, it was windy out there.
It
Let's see if I
was. It
can.
was. And this is a um,
Oh,
three per.
stage. Yeah.
Mhm. So
All right, here we go.
my grip got really lousy on this by the time I got to that port.
Now, how comfortable did you feel? Because you can see the steel in
I
the
was comfortable
background.
here. I was comfortable here. I got really intimidated by that time. Yeah, I was comfortable. I hit the steel the first time. I reloaded, grabbed the bag, and then when I grabbed the bag, that's when I got comfortable. And you notice, like, I didn't drop the bag right away. See that? Like, I hesitated. Yeah.
Why?
For some reason, my thinking was like, if I drop the bag wrong, it's not gonna activate, and now I gotta grab it. Yeah, things just kind of went into my head. Yeah, it got to my head.
Okay.
Yeah, and then here my grip was bad, so I hit that no shoot. See that? And then hit the no shoot again because my grip was bad. And then now I'm battling with the steels. Yeah, I didn't hit it right away. I finally got it.
Yeah, you got them both there. Now, did you alter your grip from the reload or just the movement with the bag?
Movement with the bag. My reload was good, so I reload after the first steel
Mm-hmm.
on that port, and then I reloaded. I grabbed the bag, and then thinking I don't want to muzzle myself, and then making sure that I drop the bag and looking at the activator to make sure I drop it because I have a tendency to over exaggerate myself, and so I wanted to make sure I was looking at the thing, and then as soon as I dropped it, my grip was not as good as I wanted to, and I took the shot anyway. So I started with the left target there, and then my first two hits were good, and then I wanted to transition right away, but then no, I still got a third round because it's a three per, and then when I cracked it and hit the no shoot, and then go back again, made it, and then I went to the right side of the paper, cracked two, and then my third one, I went ahead of the transition before I cracked the trigger and then hit the no shoot because I wanted to finish this. Or I just wanted to be done with that array. I just want to get out of that array. For some reason, because it just intimidated me. So, of course, suffered two no shoots, and yeah, it was.
You you want to hear something crazy? So Joey reloaded where you did, okay?
Mhm.
Moving from right to left, he reloaded. However, this is insane amount of confidence in your
Oh yeah.
shooting ability. John Vlieger did not reload until after he left the steel up front.
Oh wow, wow.
Dude, he went into that thing without a full mag.
Right. So that's hard because now you have three per on those two targets plus the two
Yeah.
duels.
Plus the
That
steel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's like at least 8 rounds right there. And he was shooting carry
How
optic. He was shooting carry
carry?
optic.
Yes. Yes. Not
So
open.
he already spent 3, 6, 9, 10. So he already spent 10 rounds if he didn't make any makeups on that array. So that means
Nearly half of his mag. Yeah.
he has like 13 rounds left in his magazine, one in the chamber. So 14 rounds if he's at 20, if he's a 24 rounder carry optic person. So yeah, 14 rounds and you're already at 8 rounds potential. Yeah, that's ballsy. Yeah.
That's confidence, man. I was
Con-
like, I'm reloading where you
oh
reloaded.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because
definitely.
to me, that's confidence and that little bit of extra weight in the grip,
Extra. Yeah,
I
because I
like.
have to break my grip anyway to grab the bag. So why not
Right.
reload? My thinking was like, if I'm reloading now, I'm breaking my grip to grab the bag, and then like, so that was my thinking. So, but again,
Well, and I didn't shoot the match, but as I'm running this stage through my head, looking at it, there's a couple reasons I would reload where I did. One, it gives me more confidence going into the steel. I have a full mag, and two, I know there's going to be enough ammo for the few targets afterwards, and that small distance from the barrel where you're shooting the swinger steel
mhm,
over to the left side, that's not very far of a movement. And I'm like, I feel like
right,
I would lose more time there
yeah,
reloading than I would on the
yeah.
back end.
I'm not breaking 180 because
Yeah.
that's a tricky reload because now you're moving kind of slanting to the left and you're right-handed.
Yeah.
I mean it's not like if you know what you're doing you're not going to break 180, but it's just because
Right.
you have to like angle yourself this way too. So yeah, I mean
The risk still isn't zero.
no, I don't really see and understand why John would not reload there. I think he's just probably just I don't know. Maybe he who knows? Who knows? I mean, if that was his stage plan or did he forget and then he just went on with it? Because sometimes I do that. Like, I forgot to reload here, but I'm just now going to take a risk and realizing that will have make sure that I am accurate with all but with John too, they're very accurate with the moving steals like that. So I think, yeah, I think it works in their favor. But for me, shush,
Yeah.
no, I'm not
It,
in
it
that.
just it just shows that different level of
Oh yeah.
shooting, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, did he save some time with that? Maybe. Maybe he saved a half a second, and sometimes those half a second is like a big factor in this game. It's a it's such a again hit factor. Hit factor is such a crazy sport because people can get beat by a tenth of a second, hundreds of
Yeah.
a second.
For you and me, and I'm not saying you're at my level or I'm at your level, but I mean, not at the top level, not being in that top 20, I think it's less of a factor. You know,
Yeah.
half a half a second. Well, you could
Right.
definitely make up a half a second on me on the next stage. That's not an issue.
Right.
But
Right.
these guys, yeah, it's way more critical.
Oh yeah, very critical. I mean, think about it. If you have JJ shooting this stage, this match, if JJ was shooting carry optic, and some of the big guys out there, let's say Tom Castro was in here shooting carry optic, yeah, it can be very very close. Like as far as the match would go because of just that one stage alone. That's why it's really important not to screw up. Like if you screw up, you better subject to your plan, the original plan, trying to fix that screw up and not affecting your. And this is my problem. I mean, I'm sure that happens to a lot of people too. Like, I'm not in that level where if I screw up, most of the times it would affect the remainder of the stage for me. Like yeah, I just can't go back into like going back into the original plan just yet, but I'm working on that. I'm really working on that. Just trying to get that mindset of saying that following the stage plan.
I want to move into something else. You You have been shooting a little bit of PCSL.
Yes, yes, because we have in our local area, we have Riley Fox is one of the guy that got the PCSL in our local. So we do that every second Sunday of the month, and our USPSA is every third Sunday of the month. And I've been diving into that as well. And in fact, I staffed Max's match at the at Florida, the GOAT, the Gulf of America tournament,
Okay.
PCSL, and I shot the night match, and I won the senior category. Yay! Because PCSL 50-year-old, you're a senior, so I have a chance to win my division. PCSL is kind of like our two gun in the sport, and it's really nice because you can use your rifle, your 5.56 223, even your AK, your 300 blackout, whatever. It depends on the club that you're going to shoot PCSL though, and your PCC. So you can use
Yes.
shoot your rifle and then your pistols. And there's very simple rules, simple division. There's competition division, and there's a practical division, and there's kit division, and yeah, pretty easy. Not a whole lot of divisions to like no a whole lot of rules to categorize everything. So yeah, pretty nice. It's a nice platform, and you meet different people. You meet a lot of tactical people that are getting into the sport, and now they're getting, like more, getting into the sport more than just being tactical. Like you see a lot of that um, in our sport.
The other thing is you get a lot of the AJ Anthony's, the Kyle Litzies, the
Mm-hmm.
rifle sided guys who for years have been rifle shooters now
Yeah,
shooting pistol alongside
yeah.
the
Rifle.
pistol guys. So now you're getting that intermingling.
Yeah. So it's a totally mix of skills. So you can have a guy that's really good at rifle but sucks at pistol, and it's like, yeah. So if you don't train with your pistol and you're just using your rifle all the time, it's a very big difference. But I'm glad that I really love like the different divisions. So I can I have this ability to like change different divisions without really affecting me. Maybe some people think that it affects me, but I don't think it affects me that much. Like I can just go back and shoot my pistol right now, and I'd be the same skill level where I was before. I just need to dry fire a little bit, and, develop my grip. Give me like an hour to figure that out, but because definitely, yeah, pistol is a rifle. PCC is totally different. Like like it's not easy. People think that it's easy, and it's not. It's like it's so hard to get the rifle, the PCC to steady when you have 4 points of contact, and any slight movement that moves a lot compared to like pistol. Like if I'm pointing my pistol right at my eye level, I can move my hips, my body, and I can still keep the gun to eye level, and the dot doesn't move as much compared to like a PCC. And when the PCC recoils a lot harder, that's when it's so hard to get it back as well. Because again, had that 4 point of contact, like things kind of like you make sure it's the right amount of pressure that you're putting on, and the how you mount the gun in your shoulder, and yeah, but it's fun. I like PCSL. I enjoy it. It's a different group of people that shoot it. It's kind of a different atmosphere, and
Hmm.
meet new people. Of course, Max is the big our guy that kind of established this, and he's one of the best out there in the PCC world. So it's fun. I enjoy it.
Well,
Have
and
you
I think that really helps the sport of PCSL because Max is heading it up where he has so much shooting experience. He
ever?
can do, he can he just has a great knowledge of rifle and pistol, so he
Yeah.
can incorporate them well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, we've been lucky to be able to shoot both of these organizations, and we're trying to promote PCSL as well. on top with USPSA. So yeah, I also dabbled a little bit on IDPA, and I've been kind of kicking ass on that IDPA because there's competition in IDPA, but it's not as much as the USPSA.
Right.
So it kind of if I want to like give myself a little bit of like confidence, I should IDPA and then you know kick my local clubs in IDPA and I'm like, oh yeah, I feel good. I won the match. And then I go to USPSA and I'm like, ah, I'm still right there struggling in the top five. I want to be in the first, but I like it though. I love shooting with competition. I hate. I don't really enjoy winning as much as far as like if you're winning without the competition. You know what I mean? Like you want to win with lots of competition to make it. Like I've beat like some of the people that I've been trying to beat in this sport, but sometimes I realize, oh, I beat them because their gun malfunctioned or something like that, and then I'm like, nah, that wasn't a really good win. But then a win is a win, whatever. But
And
sometimes.
that's what disappointed me the year that Eric Graffel came over and shot CO Nationals was the fact that Christian had the
Hmm.
dot failure on a stage,
Yeah,
and that just totally ruined it. And I didn't care who won. I just wanted to see them battle the whole
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And again, you are responsible for your equipment, so that is part of the sport. And yeah, but it just doesn't feel good when you beat somebody at that level of skill, and then all of a sudden one of their guns like malfunctioned or had some weird things, and then of course it's gonna eat up their time, and then now you beat them because they were like 6, 10 seconds behind of you. So it's a thing.
Well, and oddly enough, at the same match, Morgan Leonhardt had during shooting the stage, the front glass of her SRO just fell out of her dot.
Oh, really?
So she
Wow.
basically zeroed a stage because she just completely lost
This
her
was
dot.
this was our CO Nats last year.
No, the same one that Eric came to. So Christian had a
Oh,
dot
so
issue on a stage, and then Morgan also had a dot issue on a
that
stage.
was IPSC Nats then, right? Was that IPSC Nats?
No, it was CO Nets. I think it was 2024. Wasn't that when Eric came over? Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
was that one. Yeah.
yeah. So it's CO Nats. Okay. Yeah, Morgan. That's another. I used to. I saw her. I first shot with her in Area 5 back in, gosh, I can't remember, like 3 years ago. And when I saw her shoot, it's like, man, this girl is gonna be another strong competition. And she did. She excelled and just kicking people's asses. Like,
Yeah, she was already a national champ by then.
yeah, it was
It's
crazy how
crazy.
these kids are. They just keep getting better, Dave.
Well,
You
I
know.
think it's like anything. It's like, look, you were ahead of people your age. You went to school earlier, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
When you have the Williams sisters, you have Morgan, even Christian,
Hmm.
Nils, when they start young, I mean, they just pick it up and
Yeah.
if they like it, then they're like a
Yeah.
freaking sponge, you
Oh yeah.
know?
And of course, with all the technology that we have now, people can just learn on their own. Like YouTube, Instagram, people are giving like a lot of tidbits without even knowing that they've given some really good meat to chew on without even knowing. Like they just put it out there, and some people can just like pick that up. Like, oh, shoot, that's how you shoot things on the move. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yep.
very, very interesting. Now, would you consider going to PCSL Nationals?
I've always wanted to, and I almost staffed the PCSL Nats last year, and in fact, I signed up for it. But then something happened with my schedule, work, and family
Mm,
that I couldn't, and I had to tell Max, like, I'm so sorry, dude, I couldn't staff the Nats. And then this year, my schedule is not gonna work, especially going into that late time of the year, and it's way out there in Utah, man. So no, I'm not gonna be able to to shoot that match, I would love to, because I don't really know how long I can keep up with shooting two gun. I mean, two gun is a brutal match if you think about it. It takes a lot of your energy and a lot of your
Hmm.
mind thinking because you're shooting two different targets, two different, like the strategy is so much different because there's
You have
so
two
much.
stage plans.
Exactly. Two stage plans, two different targets, two different colors of steels, the safety thing that you have to make sure that you don't break any of those safety things. And then if you're really serious about it, that means you bring a lot of gear because your pistol, well, of course you have to bring two, and your rifle, you have to bring two. And sometimes with my competition division, I bring two ARs and one PCC. And if I really get so serious, I have to bring two ARs and two PCCs because sometimes there are stages that PCC can just dominate instead of like the rifle. Because if it's like a really close like hoser stage, I'm not gonna use my rifle, man. I'm
Right.
gonna, I'm gonna use my PCC. It's so
And,
much fun and quicker to shoot than the rifle.
and it's still cheaper to shoot it too on those little
Yeah.
stages.
Oh yeah, cheaper. But with the PCSL, you have targets that are like 100 yards, dude, or more. So PCC ain't gonna work on that.
I think it would work on the 100-yard targets. I don't know how far, I haven't done any real testing beyond it, but I did talk to some people that, like 2 years ago, so 2024 PCSL Nats, Mason was there, Nils. That was the first year they did the true PCSL Nationals, and it was in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And I talked to some there, and I'm like, could you have used your PCC on the two long courses where the shots were like 160 yards? And they said, yeah, I could have. They didn't. They preferred to use the rifle, but Justine's like, yeah, I probably could have shot the entire match with my PCC, but they would have been at a disadvantage, obviously, on those two stages.
Yeah,
But
and that's the thing. Like, it's just depends on what kind of targets they put out there on the rifle, like steel versus paper.
right,
Because if you're shooting paper at, let's say, 150 yards to 170 yards, let's say 200, between 200 to 150 yards, your holdover on a PCC is just so much different, man. And then
right.
sometimes they're just not as consistent as the rifle. And then of course your PCC, I zero my PCC for PCSL at like 30 yards, and then it's just because there's more closer targets than far, and then you're shooting far targets. Now you got to know how your bullet trajects and what your
Hmm.
holdover, because and they're just inconsistent. A rifle, heck, you zero it at 100, you're good to go.
Right. Yeah, the
You know,
trajectory's flat, whether it's close or
right?
far. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just yeah. So that's the thing. Like if I go to Nats and you're bringing, well, I can always just bring two rifles instead of PCC, but it is cheaper to shoot PCC because of the 9 millimeter. But
Yep.
yeah, so I see how PCSL will get really. I hope it's not gonna flop. I think it's gonna keep going, especially with the uh, free membership that they're doing right now. Like you don't have to pay unless if you're going for like a lifetime or something like that. Like right now, if it's just like a free membership, but there's a little bit more things that they do if you pay for your membership. So we'll see how it goes. It's
Ashlyn had asked me to come down and do some media stuff for the goat, but I
mm-hmm.
wasn't I wasn't my schedule wasn't it wasn't going to work. But how was in your mind, how was the match? How did you enjoy it as a competitor and as an RO?
Yes, I enjoyed it very well. The 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 match went very well. I enjoyed arrowing, and I, like I said, I shot the day match and also shot the night match. The night match was a lot of fun. It totally gave me a different aspect of training with the rifle because I don't have nods. I don't have night optic vision, so I use white light. And when you shoot a rifle, if you're shooting a target, let's say 100 yards out with a white light, you can't just shoot like you have to wait until that cloud of smoke dissipates because the bright light covers the whole vicinity
Yeah, it's like a halo. Yeah.
like a halo, and then you don't see your target. You go boom. There's like almost like a 2 second pause before you can see that target again, and then trying to get your sight again back to that same target. Boom. So that was a big kind of like adjustment for me to shoot white light, and of course trying to maneuver the light with your pistol because you're not used to training it, like how you engage it. On one time I engaged the rifle light and it went into strobe light. Brrr. Yeah, so I can't see nothing. Like I was like, oh shit! Like all the buzzwords were coming out. Like people were like, oh shit. So then you have to like, So and they tell me, Mike, you can program that to get out of strobe light, right? It's like, yeah, but I didn't know. Like, yeah, it's cool to have a light, but when you never train with it, just knowing that, oh, I have a light, I can use it at night. So it really was an eye opener for me to shoot night match with the gear that I have because now I know what to do, how to manipulate, how to train with them during the night if I ever have to use my rifle at night time, if I ever have to use the tool that I have to protect myself or whatever.
I
So yeah.
thought but I thought the strobe light was for less lethal, where you can just give them a seizure.
Right. I think that's what it's made for, Dave. Basically, it gave me a seizure. So, so it was like, yeah, it scared the crap out of me when like it's just like when you overly push the switch, because sometimes again my hands get so like doesn't have that coordination. Sometimes I put it so hard and then I engage it to strobe and it didn't have to be strobe, and things happen. So I just have to understand how to program that, understand my tools, and and so far I have managed to do that. And the things, yeah. But it is a new organization. Uh, I wish it would have been better, the RO better compensated for the time that they did, and people flying from different like far away distance to staff the match. But other than that, uh, went very well. I enjoyed. I meet a lot of new people. Learned a lot of things from the PCSL type of competition, and it's fun. And I'm gonna keep doing it. I just hope that in the near future that ROs, especially on big matches like that, would get compensated better uh, compared to USPSA. Uh, Especially, I came from where I staff most of my ROing in Cardinal, which is in Marengo, which is Brad Kumi and Dan Click and Corey Katz. They take care of the staff. I mean, I
Yeah, they
could
do.
like again because I came from that. I've been kind of spoiled like how they take care of me, and then I go to like staff the goat match, and I'm like, what? Okay, all right. But whatever, like I hope that they will do a little better. But anyway,
So, all right, just out of curiosity, because you have rifles, PCCs, and pistols, just again for my own curiosity, what dots do you use on your pistols? What dots do you use on your PCC? And what are you running on your rifle?
Okay, so different things, different. I guess because for my pistol, I just use on the pistol that I have is I have the kind of a similar dot that I use. It's kind of like a similar to the SRO, which is the one that I have on my dot right now. I guess my okay on my the dot on my pistol that I use is the Vortex Defender XL.
Okay.
So that's on my pistol. On my PCC is I use the Ames, Hollison Ames, which is kind of like a box looking, and it's
Yeah.
enclosed emitter because it's just tall enough for me to just, and I just use that for my PCC. Now for my rifle, I I have two rifles. So the one that I have is just a regular Hollison. I can't even remember what type it is, but I also have a magnifier
Mm.
behind that in case if I have to use it for long distance. But my
Okay.
other rifle, because again in PCSL you can switch guns,
Yes.
right? I can switch guns. So if this is a long course, far targets, then I can use my LPVO. So I have
Mm-hmm.
one that has the LPVO on it with a side mounted
Dot.
dot. So so yeah, so you have a lot of options with PCSL. You're not like you don't have to like call the range master to say, "Hey, I'm switching guns. I'm going back to PCC." Blah blah blah. No, there's a lot of leeway that you can use with PCSL, and it's kind of lax. We kind of like trust a lot of people. Sometimes the safety kind of get a little eerie a little bit, because people with their guns they can just and get their guns out from their car as long as you're following the rules. Guns flag, muzzle down. You can sling it right when you're coming out of your car. You don't have to go to the safe table to do all of that. Um, just different rules. You can't do that in USPSA, right? You
Right.
keep the go to the safe table, get your gun. But since PCSL, you can literally sling your gun, so you can get your gun. Make sure you're not, flagging anybody because we treat everybody as big boys in this sport, so you know what you're doing. And yeah, so just those. But so far, it's a good experience. I enjoy PCSL, and I'm glad that I do PCSL at least once a month in my local. There's good stuff.
Are you going to be for USPSA? Are you going to be staffing any of the nationals this year?
Yes, I am staffing
Race gun.
race gun. That's
I
the
figured
one.
it's not. It's close to you.
Yeah, yeah, oh, absolutely. When I saw Maringo, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm staffing that, and of course, I'm already known to them, so like they've sent me. I mean, when I applied to uh, to for the USPS organization, I guess because it's national, so it's gonna go to Troy,
Right.
and yeah, so with my background, Troy already knows that I've staffed many nationals before, so I got approved, and I'm happy with that. So yeah, that's it. I didn't want to staff any other nationals because it's kind of far away, like the one in Utah, which is the factory gun in Alabama. I've done a lot of my nationals already, so if it's closer to me, I would staff it. So I staff Buckeye, and then I'm staffing Leif's match here this coming weekend. I'm going to Kentucky Thursday
The
to
bluegrass.
yeah bluegrass. So I'm staffing his
Okay.
match. Yeah, so I'll be there, and then I will shoot Area 5 as a competitor. I'm not gonna staff Area 5. So since Area 5 is not in Marengo, it's in Michigan actually, and that's in the
Mm-hmm.
Oak Hill. And I know Chris, the match director for that one, but I figured he already has a lot of people that are able to staff. So I kind of like let them staff that. I'm just gonna enjoy myself as a competitor to shoot that. So figure I'd give myself a little break this year because I'm also doing a lot of IDPA matches, and I'm actually shooting IDPA nationals this year. I got approved for to shoot IDPA nationals since I've been doing well with my PCC and the IDPA.
Now you. correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you have to earn points for their
Mhm.
nationals? Okay.
Yes. So the IDPA this year is in Marengo, and again, I kind of like try to jump in on that. So yeah, so I started shooting more IDPA kind of end of last year, and no, actually, yeah, actually last year I started shooting more major matches in IDPA, and I've earned some points, and I was even surprised that was invited. With my points was only like, how much points did I have? Like 10 points, I believe. But I'm gonna be more likely shooting like the early match, probably like a Thursday or a Friday. So
Okay.
that reminds me I gotta sign up for the IDPA Nats the 17th. So that's tomorrow. Yeah, that's tomorrow. I gotta sign up tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess
So
it's the end of September.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And I have my Indiana State sectional on that same weekend as well. So I think I'll be able to shoot the IDPA on a Thursday or a Friday, and then I'll shoot my Indiana sectional on a Sunday that same weekend.
That'll be a busy weekend.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be a busy guy. So most of yeah, like right now, every weekend I'm shooting. Just I, I
So your
enjoy.
job must you must have a good schedule with your job then to be able
Yes,
to shoot.
yes, I'm so glad that I'm able to do that because I used to be not able to do that, Dave. I just transferred to the operating room 3 years ago.
Mm,
So I was an ICU nurse. I was a heart ICU nurse for a long time, for like 15 or 16 years. And we were required to work weekends, like every other weekend. And that was
yeah.
kind of hard for me when I started shooting because of the schedule. And then, of course, my shift was so hard when I worked in ICU because I worked 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. And now that I work in the OR, I don't have to work weekends. My I work 4 days a week, and it's 10-hour shift. So I work from 9 a.m. to 7:30 at night. I sleep better. I have more energy. I'm not like a vampire anymore. And but I am on call for like once every 2 months. That's a weekend on call, but that's once every 2 months. So
Yeah, that's not bad.
yeah, not bad. So and if there's nothing going
S-
on, then I don't get called in.
Well, well, let me ask you this. Let's say one of those weekends, your time for on call was IDPA Nat or Indiana section weekend.
Hmm.
Could you just swap your weekend with another nurse to, and then you take
Hmm.
their weekend? Okay, well that's
Yeah,
easy then.
yeah. So yeah, it helps when you also like build your relationship with your coworkers, right? So if
Yeah.
they ask me to swap, and if I can do it, I would say yes, absolutely. So that gives me that, I can that now I'm building relationship with that kind of
Mm.
like thing. So now if when it's my turn to ask, then they also return the favor. So and we have a great team, so we understand that life happens in our schedule. So if people are not able to find somebody, and our manager is really cool too, because like if I want to get that on call covered, if nobody can switch it, I just have to make sure that it will be covered by another person. Like, hey, just cover me for just one day, and that's usually not hard to do. So yeah, I'm enjoying where my new work right now because it's really really flexible, and I love the schedule. I can shoot more. I have a better sleep, and compared to what I was doing before, it's less stressful because the OR is like I'm not getting a lot of needs from the patient. Once we get the patient in the OR, we get the anesthesia to sedate them, their sleep, and then we're good to go. And
Well,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't. When you work in the ICU,
Mm-hmm.
You go home, but when you come back the next day, you may have the same patient still in the ICU. So sometimes when you go home, that patient is still in your mind, whereas when you leave the OR, it's all gone.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's you are absolutely right. Because sometimes it lingers on because when you have a very sick patient, you come home and it's still kind of like in the back of your head, like,
Hmm.
okay, like, is the patient okay? Did I give the report to the nurse everything that she needed to know so that she can take care properly of this patient? Or let's say if the patient didn't do well, it's like the next morning, like, what did I do? Like, what happened? What did I do something wrong or what? Just those things. And of course, the family are there. They kind of sometimes it's very draining. Like your energy gets drained so much because you are their person. You are the one. We are the one to get blamed on a lot. You also get praised on more compared to the doctor because you're the ones that's there all the time with the patient,
They
but
see you all the time. Yeah.
the time. But yeah, it's nice. I enjoyed it, but in the season of my career right now, I don't regret leaving that area because now I can enjoy what I really like to do. Like shooting is not my profession, but it's kind of like my lifestyle, and competition shooting is a hobby for my lifestyle, if you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah, but even though it's not your profession, it is a passion.
yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's why sometimes I get misunderstood a lot. Like for some people that ask me things about shooting, and then my voice starts to raise, and I get really because and then they're like, dude, I'm not mad. I'm just letting you know because I'm really passionate about the sport, and I want you to excel. I want you to do better than what I did before. I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I did. And then they just like, oh, okay, 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 okay. But yeah, but I don't want to explain those things, but again, sometimes when we're so passionate about something, we get misunderstood a lot. But, I guess that comes in the territory, but it's okay. Yeah, you can never make
What's what
everybody happy.
what does the future of shooting look like for you?
Oh, wow. I think the future of shooting light for me is gonna be this is me. I'm gonna be. It doesn't matter what classification I am, as long as I am I keep doing what I'm doing, and I know that my skills are getting better. I want to be at least win uh, a state match. I haven't done that, but I have won my division. Um, uh, Class or division. But as far as like state match, I haven't done any. I haven't won any state match for me. So hopefully, I'll get there and continue to advocate for the young people to start shooting and just give them the chance to learn from our prestigious instructors that are doing this. So that's what I'm trying to do in the next for the future to encourage people to come and teach, especially like the coaches out there in my area to help with some of the local people so I can have better competition with the locals that I'm shooting with. Yeah, that's and again, it is a passion. I love the sport, so I will probably keep doing this for the rest of my life until I can't do it anymore. This is probably the only sport that I've really known um, in my life, and I'm so
Oh
glad
wow.
to be part of it. Yeah, because like I said, I've never really been part of any sport growing up. I mean, I played basketball, like street basketball, things like that, but nothing really like this is the
Organized.
yeah. So this is the only sport that I belong to that some people like me that is nobody that have a different profession that I can actually compete against Nils or Mason Lane or Christian Seiler or see where I stack against them. It's not like it's not like, oh, you have to be varsity student to play the sport and play against this college. You can even play. Tell me a sport that will let you do this, Dave. Like, there's no other sport that will let you like.
No,
Can you just get into the sport and play against the big superstar in basketball right now? No.
no.
Here, you have a gun. There you go. Put your membership in, be part of the organization, volunteer, and shoot, and then you're part of the organization. That's
Although I will say the result would be the same if I went and played golf against Rory or shot against Mason. It's the same result. It doesn't matter. I'm not winning either one of those.
right, but still, the just the thought that you are in the sport with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how many times like shoot, I've shot with Justine before. I was on her squad. You know what I mean? Like Area 5 or something like that. You know, like nothing national. And it's just one of those things. Like how often can you actually like shoot with like these people that are really really good
World
at
class competition.
class competition? And I'm just here enjoying the sport. And yeah, so that's
I
why
mean, she's literally a world champion in multiple
oh yeah,
shooting
yeah.
events.
Yeah, yeah. I've shot with her. I think my first area was it Area 5. My first Area 5, and she was in my squad, and I can I don't know, I can't even remember, but anyway, I was just like, wow, like these girls are like amazing. Yeah, they shoot very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting kicked by a young girl is take a piece of that humble pie when we think, us guys think that this is our sport and we own it. And, before I get to competition, like, I know how to handle gun. I know how to shoot gun until you get into the competition part, shoot a match, and you're like, wow, there's
All,
more that,
all, all
yeah.
you have to do is dedicate as much of your life to it as they have.
Yeah, right? I know, right? Yeah. Eh, Sometimes,
And that's literally the difference. It's like I had
mhm.
Maxwell McNutt on recently, and he went up to Christian Seiler at a nationals. I think it was a nationals. Could have been an area. Oh, it was an area. Anyway, he goes up to. I think it was an area match, but he goes up to him later, like time after the stage was done. He's like, "Hey, how did you do on that swing and target?" And Christian's like, "Two alphas."
Mhm.
And he's thinking out loud, and he goes, wow, it's amazing to be able to shoot the same stage and see how you do compared to other people, and
Yeah.
think you've knocked it out of the park to find out you didn't. And Christian's like, well, you want to know why? And Maxwell's like, yeah. And he goes, because I'm better and I train more,
Mm.
which is
Yeah.
exactly what all of those top level people do. They think it through, they train their butts off, and they've just
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
you and I have selected other things to be priority where they select shooting to be the priority.
Right. Exactly. And again, it's a season in our lives, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm
Good
in a
way of
season,
putting it.
yeah, because I'm in a different season than those kids. Like their priorities have they have different priorities. My priority is support my family, pay the bills, work, all these other things, and I still spend time so that I can accommodate into the training to better my craft, which is that would maybe take me to dry fire 3 times a week. If I could dry fire more than that, I would, but sometimes you just can't because there's a lot of things that I have to, divide my time with house chores and all the other things, like my day off in 1 day off in a week, I gotta put all of that stuff into like making sure everything is hunky dory in the household. So yeah, but I don't envy them at all. In fact, I'm glad that these kids have the opportunity to be able to do the things that they can do, because this is what we need in the sport. We need GMs like Christian Seiler so that we can see where we're at in our standings of our skills, because otherwise we're all just going to be the same. There's no standards. So yeah, I really, yeah, this I enjoy watching these guys and girls shoot our sport in such a great. They move so differently than most people. They plan so differently. They're like, I've RO'd Christian Seiler so many times, and I have him on like my RO cam. And this is what I do, Dave. When I RO these kids, I turn on my RO cam and then I send it to them.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I've sent a few RO cam to Christian Seiler, and kid is so humble. Like, he's
Hmm.
always very polite and thank you, sir. Like, even like when I RO him, it's like, when I tell him to make ready, and he will always say, "Thank you, sir." Like, he's very like just polite kid. Like,
Yes.
just very pleasant. And if he tries to contest a score or a hit, he doesn't get too emotional like other people. Like, hey, if that was a Charlie and you thought he was an alpha, I would have given that to you if you deserve an alpha, but not because you're Christian Seiler. Like, if it
Right.
was Charlie, dude. I mean, sorry, that's a Charlie, man. I mean, I'm not sorry, but I wish you would have an alpha, because, but if you did not deserve the alpha, I won't give it to you just because you're Christian Tyler or Tom
Y-
Castro or Mason Lane.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter who you are. It's
No.
it's what the score is. That's what you shot. That's what you get.
Yeah, but sometimes that gets a little bit, kind of driving into the culture of the sport. Like Max Michelle does not miss, so like, yeah, you cannot have a mic there. That's like that's a double. Like, sometimes it's like,
But we're
sure.
but we're all human.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen people do that, but it's all good.
Well, Mike, that's everything I wanted to talk about shooting wise. Are you going to be dissecting that mango like you did in your video?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be dissecting that mango. I'm gonna eat it here very soon and fresh in my fresh in my taste buds. So, oh yeah, Dave. So thank you for having me. It's really
Oh, you're
nice.
very welcome, man. I was looking forward to this conversation just because we've chatted a few times in passing. We haven't had a real in-depth conversation, but you're an easy guy to talk to. So,
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah.
well, enjoy your mango and hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Yes, absolutely, Dave. Thank you for the time and for hooking me up here. And yeah, maybe we can talk about this again when I maybe get into like master level class and do better and winning matches.